Guys, so what we are discussing? So we are discussing. I already told you, right? So we are discussing about the VPC. I already told you, right? Something like the concept of called as a networking. So first we need to know the what is networking, what is IP address, what is subnets, what is a routers. So we need to know these things. So yeah. So basic networking. You guys are understood, right? What is networking? What is network? Yes, not have. Yeah, basic networking. So what is networking, guys? What is network? So what is network? So what is a network, guys? Something like and what is a network? A group of two or more computer devices connected together is nothing but a network, right? So what is a network? Something like this is the router, this is a switch or a hub. So we can connect with the computers is called as a network. Group of two or more computer devices connected together is nothing but a network. So what is the purpose of network? To share the resources like printers, servers, folders, everything, so we can share it. So what is the advantage of network? Easy to access the resources and time and save security. So what are the requirements for the network? Computer with the operating system, so Linux operating system, and NIC card. So what is this, guys? NIC card, network interface card for every computer. What is this? NIC card. So cable and RJ45 connector, centralized device, here a bar switcher. IP address for every computer. So what is a IP address? So what is a IP address? So a IP address is nothing but a internet protocol address is nothing but a IP address. So we are giving the command in the Linux IPA, right? Right. If you don't know what is IPA. So IPA is nothing but a IP address. What is IP address? IP address is nothing but a internet protocol. IP is nothing but a internet protocol address. So there are types of networks: LAN, WAN, MAN. So something like what is a LAN, what is a MAN, and what is a WAN. So something like what is a LAN and WAN? So LAN is nothing but a local area network. What is, guys? A local area network. Network devices connected in a limited geographical area. So within the room, within the building, within the campus. So computers are connected to the switches. Computers are connected to the switches. This is nothing but a local area network. So wide area network. This is a private network. So LAN is nothing but a private network. WAN, wide area network. So wide area network is nothing but a network devices are in the distinct areas between the different cities, different countries, service provider existence. So definitely we need a ISP, internet service provider. So networks are connected with the help of routers. So this is so WAN is nothing but a wide area network. We can connect from India to US, US to India, whatever the internet from the internet, right? So we are seeing everything. This is through the van. Through the van. LAN is this is the LAN. So this is the van. For example, India, US. So we need to connect from India to US. So what we need a service provider. So we service provider, for example, in US, something like T-Mobile, AT&T. So there are number of service providers are there in India, something like Beam, Act, Airtel, something like Vodafone. There are the ISP providers, Internet Service Geo. So these are the ISP providers. So they're connecting over the internet. They're connecting from US office to India office through the WAN, through the WAN. Networking devices. What is the networking devices? NIC, hub, switch, router. Networking devices are NIC, hub, switch, router. What is NIC? This is the NIC card. NIC is nothing but a network interface card, gives the network service to the computer. Every computer must have a NIC to communicate with the other computer. Every computer, Dell, PowerEdge, Dell PowerEdge R710 server, NIC. So guys, you see, so this is the front part of the server. So this is the back part of the server. In the back part, you see something like a VGA cables. So these all are the network cards, NIC cards. What are the NIC cards? So these are the NIC cards, physical NIC cards. So these are the NIC cards. NIC cards. So this is the so these all are the NIC cards. Guys, tell me what is the name of name it call it as a NIC. NIC is nothing but a network interface card. Guys, tell me what are these NIC cards? NIC cards. NIC card is nothing but a network interface card. So in the NIC card are Ethernet card. So they call it as NIC card or Ethernet card. So these are the Ethernet cards. So how many Ethernet cards are there here? Ethernet card ports are there. Something like a Ethernet card 0. First one is Ethernet card 0. The call it as a shortcut name is ETH 0. The second one is Ethernet card 1. So the name it call it as Ethernet card 1. So the third one is 2. Ethernet card 2. The fourth one is Ethernet card 3. 3 is nothing but Ethernet card 3. ETH 3. Guys understood? So this is ETH 0. This is ETH 1. ETH 0, ETH 1, ETH 1, ETH 2, ETH, ETH 3. So these are the Ethernet card 1, Ethernet card 2, Ethernet card 3. See, these are the NIC cards. Guys understood? So these are the Ethernet cards or a NIC card. Call it as a Ethernet card or a NIC card. Right? So every Ethernet card having the network interface card or a Ethernet card. It gives a network service to the computer. What it gives? It gives a network service to the computer. Every computer must have a NIC card to communicate with other computers. So, for example, in our virtual machine, this is not a physical. This is a virtual machine. So, how many adapters? How many adapters you enabled adapter 1, adapter 2, adapter 3, right? So you enabled adapter adapter 1, adapter 2, 2, adapter 3. For example, these three are. The first one is NAT, selected as a NAT adapter. The second one is the bridge adapter, right? The second one is bridge adapter. Third one is host only adapter. Host only adapter, right? So the first adapter is something like if you press your IP space here, hit ENPS 0, ENPS 0, 3, ENPS 0, 8, ENPS 0, 0, 9. So NPS 03, 08, 09, ENP 0S3, ENP 0 something like the name we call it as a, so these are, so every Ethernet card, so these are the ENPS 03, ENPS same like as a, so if it is a physical one, so it call it as a ETH0, ETH1, ETH2, ETH3. So if it is a virtual, the call it as a ENPS. So 03 is one Ethernet card, 08 is one Ethernet card, 09 is another Ethernet card. So here three Ethernet cards are there, but these are the physical Ethernet cards. Every Ethernet having the IP address 192.168.168.56 dot or something like 101. So this is something like a 10 dot 45.67.81, for example. So this is something like 172 dot 172 dot 168 172 dot 16 172 dot 16 dot 16.53.47, whatever it means. So for example, I'm taking this. So you see, so these are the Ethernet cards. Every Ethernet card having the IP address. Every Ethernet card having the IP address. The same like if it is a physical, the call it as ETH0, ETH1. If it is a virtual machine, ENPS. It is called it as a ENPS. Guys, now you understood? So in our virtual machine, we enabled three Ethernet cards, three adapters, right? We enabled three adapters in the beginning of the OS installations, right? Now you understood, guys, what is this adapter? Why we need this adapter? Guys, understood? How? Victoria, Ramakrishna, understood?
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm, yeah. So something like a NIC card is nothing but a network interface card gives the network services to the computer. Every computer must have a NIC to communicate with the each other computer. Right. Hub switch is used to group of the devices faster than hub, something like that. So we can connect the computers. We can connect the computers. How we can connect the computers through the switch. Through the switch. So one port you can put it here, and you can another port you can put it to computer, connected to the computer. It will connect it. So router use it to, so it is used to group of the devices. Something like use it to communicate with the different network. This is the same network. This is the different network. So a router is nothing but a, so WAN. A switch is nothing but a, it's a LAN. Local area network we are using LAN. A router we are using for the so wide area network. So wide area network. So numbering system. How it comes? 192.168 dot something like. So numbering system, binary numbering system, octal numbering system. Binary means zeros and ones. Octal numbering means 0 to 7. Decimal means 0 to 9. Hexadecimal means 0 to 9 and A, B, C, D, E, F. So these are the binary number system is 2. So octal numbering system is 8, 0 to 7, and decimal numbering system is base 10. So 0 to 9. The hexadecimal numbering system is base 16 from 0 to 9 and A, B, C, D, E, F. So how we can convert this? How we can convert this? Something like it is a 78. The conversion is something like a, so I already told you, right? How we can convert this? So something like a 187 or how to convert from decimal to binary, a binary to decimal. binary to decimal. Yeah. So NIC card. So what is this, guys? This is a NIC card. So NIC card having a physical IP address and logical IP address. So logical address and physical address. What is the physical address? MAC, media access control, L2 address, permanent, something like 48-bit. This is the 48-bit hexadecimal notation, for example. So this is the every NIC card having the MAC address as well as IP address. So logical address is nothing but a IP. IP is nothing but a internet protocol. This is the L3 address. Logical can be changed 32-bit. So what is this? 32-bit only. So dotted decimal notation. What is the dotted decimal notation? 192.168.56.101, right? So the same like as a. So this is the 32-bit. 8 octant, 8 octant, 8 octant, 8 octant. 8 into 4 equal to 32. Right, this is the 8 octant, this is the 8 octant, this is the 8 octant, this is the 8 octant. So this is the dotted decimal notation. So MAC address is something like that. So the first 24 bits of the group of the MAC address is called as a OUA, Organizational Unique Identifier Number. The manufacturer's identification. So this is for the manufacturer, right? Yeah. So IP config, not I think if config in Linux, it will check the IP address or IPA. So something like a ping. So ping is nothing but to check the connectivity. Ping is nothing but to check the connectivity. To check the connectivity, guys. Yeah, system communication. I already told you, right? The protocols. What is the protocol? System architecture, hardware, software is called as a architecture. System with different architectures can communicate because of they have the same protocols. What is a protocol? Protocol is a standard set of rules. Operation sequence of a carrier to a specific task. DNS, DHCP, HTTP, these are the port number. Port number is a channel of communication. A system can initiate multiple sessions with the destination computer. Unique number is required to identify that session. This number is called as a port number. Port number is a 16-bit value. The range from 0 to 65535. 65535. A well-known ports from 0 to 1023. Registered from 1024 to 49,151. Dynamically assigned something like that. Okay. The port numbers are I already told you, important port numbers FTP, SSH we already discussed 22. Something like HTTP we already discussed 80. So HTTPS also we already discussed 443. These are the port numbers. So how we can communicate with the system? System communicate with the system. System sends some control information along with the data. This is the reason data is directly forwarded to the correct destination. This control information is called as a header information. Yeah, this is the most important, guys. You can read in the any one of the YouTube, guys. What is OS layers? Okay, so I will tell you just a small discussion about this physical data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer. So this is the application layer. So these all are the hardware layers, network, data link, physical. So this is the software layers, the application layer, presentation layer, session layer. So heart of the OS is transport layer. Transport is the transportation. Yeah. So I provides a logical IP addresses. So IP headers of the network layer. I'm going to choose the best path of the destination, carries the data into the choose path. So IP is nothing but a internet protocol. IP is nothing but a internet protocol. Yeah. IP addressing and subnetting. What is this, guys? IP, IP addressing and subnets. So now you have basic idea about the networking, right? So what is switch, what is hub, what is router? So IP addressing and subnet, guys. So IP address can be, so you guys can check it in the Google or YouTube, something like a. So IP AP address classes, guys. You guys can, this is the task, you guys can check it. IP address class. Classes of IP address, guys. What is that? The task is the classes of IP address. You guys can can watch any one of the videos and so tomorrow, guys, I will ask you the IP addresses of the class of the IP address. So IP addressing, IP's addressing is nothing but a 32-bit value. We already informed, right? So the difference between MAC and IP addresses. Yeah. So this is a MAC address and this is the internet IP address. This is the 32-bit value. So 32-bit value means first 8 octane. This is the 8 octane. This is 8 octane. This is 8 octane. 8 into 34. 32-bit. Yeah, IP addressing. IP addressing is the 32-bit value. So what is, guys? 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So 8, each and every having a 8 octant, 8 bits, 8 bit, 8 bit, 8 bit. This is the 32-bit value. So the first IP address is 00000. The first IP address is 0000. The last IP address is 255.255.255.2. But whenever we deploy, we install the OS. So this is the IP address we got. We got the IP address. How we are connecting the IP address? So we are connecting the IP address through 192.168.56.101, right? So this is the IP address of India. But the IP address starts from 0.0.0.0. So then something like uh, 0 next to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. 1, something like 10 dot 45 dot 67 dot 81. Next 11, 12, and so on. 172 dot 172 dot 16 dot 56 dot 230 or 134 or 56 or 75, for example. So it starts from 0002. Then so the 10. So this IP address is in the 10 series, 172 series, and so on. 192 series, 192 dot 172, then 173 dot 173 dot something like 174, something like 192, and so on. 192 dot 168 dot 168 dot 56 dot 101. You see? So this is the IP address range. Then so 192, 193, and so on. 244 dot something, 255 dot 255 dot 255 dot 255. So this is the range of IP addresses. It's starting from 00002, ending from 255, 255, 250. So the middle 10 dot 10 series, 192 series. So these are the series. These are the series, guys. Is understood? So 192. How it comes at the order of the comes. So it's from 0 to, so the first 00002, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 232, 234, 255. So this one will be changing. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, 255. Next, it will change this one up to 255. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 255.255.255. Then this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 255.255.255. So the next two, so this one. So 255, 255, 255. The range from 0 to 0000 to 255, 255. IP address order is, so this is. So IP addresses from internet private address, right? Internet. IP address is not internet protocol address. Internet protocol address. From 000 to 255 are classified into 5 classes. 5 classes based on the first octet value. First octet value. As to write the classes of the IP address. The IP address classes will be into classified into 5 classes: class A, class B, class C, class D, class E. What is this, guys? Class A, class B. They are divided and they created as a classes: class A, class B, class C, class D, class E. So what it is means class A. Class A is from 0 to 255. So what is that? 0 to 255 are there, right? 0 to 255. 0 to 255. But 0 to 127 is related to class A. 0 to 0 to, yeah. So 0 to 127. So 10 series is in between the 0 to 127, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For example, 10. So 10 class A, 10 series is, so clan series is there in the class A. So clan series is there in the class A. So the other thing, so 128 to 191. The class B is nothing but a 128 to 191. So 128 to 191, 172 is the, so 172 is in the, within the 128 to 191, right? So the class B, so 172 series is class B, so 10 series is class A. Class A. From class C. So class C 192 to 223. So 192.168.56.101. So this is on class 3 range. This is on class 3. Class D is nothing but a 224 to 229 and class E is nothing but a 242 to 255. So class A primary bit is 0. So 127 means, so this is 127. 0 to 0001000 is nothing but a 127. Class B is nothing but a, so 128 to 191. Class C is nothing but a 192 to 232. So class D is nothing but a 224 to 239. Class E is nothing but a 242 to 255. So IP addresses has 4 octants. Every octant contains a 8 bits. IP address has IP address has 4 octants. Every octant contains a 8 bits. So first octant, second octant, third octant, and fourth octant. These are the 4 octants. Every octant having the every octant having the 8 bits value. 8 bits value. So subnet mask. Subnet mask value. Subnet mask value defines the properties of the IP addressing. Subnet mask value defines the properties of the IP addressing to which it can communicate and to which it cannot. Subnet mask value defines the network component and host component. So what are those guys? A network component and a host component. Host component of an IP address. IP addresses uses subnet mask to find out the boundaries of network. Subnet mask value is a driver of the IP address. Subnet mask value is the driver of IP addresses. Network bits are always represented with the 1. Host bits are always represented with the 0. You guys can remember network bit is always represented with the 1. Host bits it's always represented with the 0. Subnet mask value. Something like a class A subnet mask value structure. So this is the class A. What is the class A subnet mask value? So class A subnet mask value, one network host and three, one network and three host components. So network components equal to 1, host component equal to 0, 0, 0. So this is 1, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0. Something like 255.0.0.0. So this is the subnet mask value of a class A. So in class B subnet mask structure, so two networks and two hosts. Two networks and two hosts. So two networks is nothing but a 1, 1, 1, 1. Two hosts is nothing but a 0, 0, 0. So what is the subnet mask value of the class B? The class B subnet mask value is 255.255.0.0. Class C subnet mask structure. So class C subnet mask structure. So three network hosts, three networks, one host value. So three networks is nothing but a so 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. One host is nothing but a 0, 0, 0. So the last class C IP address is 0. Class A networks. Class A networks. Number of networks is equal to 125. Number of host network equal to. So how many networks we can create? How many IP addresses we can create in the class A? So something like something like 1 crore 67 lakhs 77,216 IP addresses. So we can give how many IP addresses we can give? So one something like 1 crore 67 lakhs 77,216. So these many IP addresses we can use if we use the class A IP address. So if you use the class A IP address, so something like so if in our company having that 10 lakhs above people, so we can use this. So we can use this class A network, class B network. The class B network is something like a 65536 something like 65534. We can use so below something like below 65,000, something like a below 1 lakh. You can use the 65,000. So you can use this network B. Something like network C is nothing but a 255, 250, 255 hosts. Something like the company, the people are below 300 only. Below 300 in the organization below 300 only, we can use the class C range. So if it is a 16,000, 65,356, something like a 1 lakh below people, we can use this class B network. Above 1 lakh, we can use the class A network based on the company people, so they will select the which network we need to take, which class of network we need to take, class A, class B, class C. Guys, understood it? So what is the network address? Network address is the identification address for all the systems in the network. The system with the same network address can communicate with each other. A system with a different network address cannot communicate with generally. So what is a broadcast address? Broadcast address is used to deliver the broadcast message to all the computers in the network. The system with the same network address can have same broadcast address All the systems in between the network address and broadcast address from logical network to communicate with each other. So network address and broadcast address are the boundaries of the network. They cannot assign to the computers. So how to find out a network? So identify a class of IP address and the subnet mask structure. Replace host partition with 0. So perform a logical and operation between the IP address and subnet mask value. Something like identify a class of IP address and subnet mask structure. So replace the host partition with root. Perform a logical or operation between IP address and the inverse subnet mask value. So something like a 10 series. So one network, three hosts. So this is related to class A. So two networks, 172.20 something like two networks and two hosts. This is related to class B. Class A, class B. This is 192. Three network host, three network components, one host component is nothing but a class C. These are the class A, class B, class C ranges. Right. So 10.0.00, I'm network address, something like 10.2.2.2.2. So we are something like a host, we can communicate with each other. So 10.0.0.1 to this one. So 1 to here. And something like class B networks, 172.172.16.00. So something like 172.16.255.255. So I'm a network address, we are a 65,000, we can communicate with each other. So something like so 192 dot class C network, 192.168.66.8. So our VM IP address is 192.168.26.101. So that is which class range? The class range is C. Which class? So the class range is C. The class C range IP addresses we are using for the our virtual machine. Using for our virtual machines. IP addressing. Something like class A, B, C, D, E. So the range is 0 to 127, class B is 128 to 191, class C is 192 to 223, class D is 224 to 239, class C is 242 to 255. So these three are the class A, class B, class three are the something like it's a IP addressing. These are the multicasting and video conferences we are using the 3D and reversed by a ITF from R&D. R&D purpose we are using the E. So we are not using the class D and class C. We are using only class A, B, C. So what is a private IP? The IP address are not routable in the public network is called as a private IP. User to communicate within the private network. Internet access is not possible within the private IP addresses. So defined in the RFC 1918. Class A, Class B, Class C are the private network. These are the private networks. Special IP addresses. 00 network is the result for the default routing, cannot be assigned to the system. So 127.0 network is the reverse loop back purpose. So class D networks are reserved for the multicasting, not for the systems. Class C networks are reserved for the research and development, not for the systems. Class D and Class C are not for the systems, only class A, Class B, Class C. So 00 network is reserved for the default routing, cannot be assigned to the system. So on 127.0.0 network is the loop back, so it cannot assign to the system. These two addresses are cannot assign. So what is a subnetting? So subnetting is logically breaking the major network into smaller networks called as subnets. Advantage of the subnetting: reduce the wastage of IP addresses. Once the network is used, it cannot be used it again in the same organization. Subnetting procedure: increase network bits in the subnet mask value from left to right. So something like this is the 255.255.0. So 192.122.128, 192, something like that. So these are the 32 bit how many we can. So subnetting methods and subnetting calculations. You guys can watch it on the Google or YouTube guys. You will understand the subnetting and the IP address of the classes. Okay, guys understood? So 00 subnet mask value something like one /1 is nothing but only one IP address. /810 is nothing but a 10 IP addresses. Something like so these are the subnet mask values. Guys are understood? So this is the and networking, a basic networking part. So IP addressing, subnets, routers, you guys now understood. In the Amazon VPC terminology, so VPC is nothing but a virtual private cloud. Virtual private cloud. So you can create your own virtual private cloud and you can install, you can run the services on that private cloud. So range nothing but a VPC. So VPC subnet, route tables, elastic IPs, internet gateways, VPC NAT gateway, network ACL, security. These all are the components in the VPC terminology. So what is the Amazon VPC definition? Amazon's definition of a VPC, Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, Amazon VPC, enables you to launch Amazon Web Services resources into a virtual network. Into a virtual network that you have defined. This virtual network closely resembles a traditional network that you have operate in our own data center with the benefits of using the scalable infrastructure of AWS. So Amazon VPC diagram. What is the VPC diagram? Something like AWS, a VPC. You can create the VPC. Under the VPC, so we can create the router, private, public IP addresses. So private IP address, public IP address, private IP address, public IP addresses. Right? So in this, so something like a router. So we can use the internet gateways. Can use the internet gateways. So we created a VPC within the region only. So within the region, we can create the VPCs, guys. You understood? So something like internet gateway, custom VPC. We can create our own custom. This is the a default VPC. This is a default subnet and default VPC. It will automatically assigns the IP address to your system if you are not providing. So customized VPC. So you can create your own customized VPCs and public IPs, private IPs, routers, virtual gateway, VPN connection, something like a customer gateway, customer network. So VPN only subnet, public subnet, private subnet, VPC, region. So everything will be, you can customize it. So understanding the CIDR IPv4. CIDR block is nothing but a classless, classless inter-domain routing. So what is CIDR means? Classless inter-domain routing. Classless inter-domain routing. A method for allocating IP addresses. A method for allocating IP addresses used in the security group rules. Used in the security group rules and AWS networking in general. So these are the networking. These are the security group rules. They help to define the IP addresses range. Did it? They help to define the IP addresses range. So we have seen something like a WW XXX by 32. So there's something like a one IP. So we have seen 0000 slash all IPs. So but we can define 192.168.00.26 means. So 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.0.63.64 IP addresses based on this guys. Based on this slash 26 slash 26 we can connect number of hosts, number of IP addresses we can assign it to the systems. CIDR, understanding the CIDR. A CIDR consists of two components. One is base IP, the second one is subnet mask. So base IP represents an IP contained in the range of example the and basic IP. So subnet mask defines the how many bits can be changed in the IP addresses. Example /0 /24 /32. It can take two forms. Something like a /8 is nothing but a 255.0000. Class 16 is nothing but a 255.0.0.0. Class 24 is nothing but a 255.255.255.0. Class 32 is nothing but a 255.255.255. Guys, understood? 8 equal to all three, only first one. The 16 equal to second two network bits. So 24 equal to three networks. 32 equal to four networks. Understanding the CIDR subnet mask. The subnet mask basically allows part of the underlying IP to get additional next values from these base IP addresses. So 192.168.0032/32 allows one IP address. So 31 allows to power 1, two IP addresses. 30 we can take to power 2, four IP addresses. 8 IP addresses, 16, 32, 64, 128, something like 256. Based on the values, we can get the IP addresses. Understanding the CIDR little exercise, something like 192.168.000.24 is nothing but a, so 192.168.0.0.0.2, so 192.168.0.255. So how many IP addresses? 256 IP addresses. So 192.168.0.0.0/16. So it will be 0.0.0.2, 255, 255. The host groups is 16 means two host groups. 24 means only one host groups. The IP address, if you use this one, you can use the IP address as 65,536 IP address. So 134.56.78.123/32. Just so we can use only one IP address. It means 32 bit means there is no bits. So 0.0.0.0 is nothing but all IPs. All IPs. Public versus private IP addresses. What is this, guys? Public versus private IP address. The Internet Assigned Number Authority. So what is that? IANA. IANA. So the Internet Assigned Number Authority established a certain blocks of IPv4 addresses for the use of private and public internet addresses. So private IP can only allow certain values, 10.0.0.0 to 255, something like 10.0.0.0/8 in big networks. The small networks. So yeah, so so 172 series AWS default VPC in that range. Which range? Class B range. So 172.168. If you are not creating any VPC, it automatically assigns the 172 update because of a default VPC will be created. So 192.168 is something like it's a 16 the home networks. Home network purpose you are using this 192 series. All the rest of the IP addresses on the internet public. So default VPC walkthrough. All new AWS accounts have a default VPC. All new AWS accounts have a default VPC. New EC2 instance are launched into the default VPC if no subnet is specified. So the default VPC has internet connectivity and all EC2 instances inside it have public IPv4 address. So we also get the public and private, private IPv4 DNS names. The both. So what is a route table? What is the internet gateway? Route table is helping your traffic will be routing through your VPC. So internet gateway. Internet gateway is attached to my VPC and it gives the internet to the internet access to the EC2. So what it is contains, it will give the internet. What it is contains, all the traffic will routing through this your VPC. So VPC in AWS VPC. VPC is a virtual private cloud. You can have multiple VPC in AWS region. So max 5 per region. The soft limit. Max CDR per VPC is 5. For each CDR, min size is equal to 28, max equal to 16. So because of VPC is a private, only the private IPv4 ranges are allowed. So this is the 10 series, 172, 180. These are the private IPs. So tomorrow we will show you how to create the VPC and we will show you something like state of hands-on. First is region. So US East, US West to the region. Then you can select the VPC. Then you can select the public subnet and private subnet and availability. So then So VPC subnet is nothing but AWS reserves 5 IP addresses, first 4 and last one. So we will not use first floor and last one. So the AWS reserves the 5 IP addresses, first 4 and last one in each subnet 10 series, 11 series, every series will be, so will be reserved for the first 4 and last one. So these 5 IP addresses are not available for use and cannot be assigned to any EC2 instances. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So network address reserved by the AWS VPC counter, router reserved by the AWS for mapping image and provided DNS reserved for the future use. Network broadcast address, AWS does not support the broadcast in VPC, therefore their address is reserved. Example, if you need a 29 IP addresses for the EC2 instance, you cannot choose the subnet size of for 20/27. 32-bit IP address is 32 minus 5, 27. So 28. You need to choose a subnet of the size -26 equal to 64. 64 minus 5. 5 entry address we need to remove, right? So that is the reason. 29. The internet gateway. Internet gateway is nothing but IZW. So allows resources in VPC connect to the internet. So it scales horizontally and it is highly available in the redundant. Must be created separately from the VPC. One VPC can only be attached to the one IZW vice versa. Internet gateways on their own do not allow internet access. Internet gateways on their own do not allow internet access. Route tables must also be edited. So easy. So VPC, you can create an internet gateway for the accessing of the internet. Public subnet is there, right? Public private IP address. We can connect the internet gateway. So in the internet gateway, how we can connect the security group? So we need a router. So in the security group, we have a inbound and outbound rules. Inbound and outbound rules. Guys, we'll show you tomorrow. Create a VPC. So demo VPC, something like create a subnets like a private and public subnets. A private subnet A, public subnet A, private subnet B, public subnet B. Subnets are attached to the EPC. So internet gateway instance VPC connect to the internet. Create a EC2 instance, network settings, VPC subnet, address and IP address, default, disable, something like we can do it. So we can do it tomorrow, guys. So what is the bastion host? What is the net gateway? NAT gateway. What is the NAT gateway? High priority. Security groups and NACL, network ACL, ACLs, default NACL, empirical port, NACL with empirical ports. Create NACL tools for each target and subnet. Security group versus NACL, VPC peering. Yeah, we'll tell you guys. We'll tell you tomorrow. Okay, understood, guys? You heard about little bit, right? Now you got the point. What is IP address? Why we need IP address? Guys, understood?